today we got a new subject or topic that we're going to be talking about, and let's get into introducing our host.
Yes.
We got Sharon Lamb.
Hello.
Jacqueline Houston.
Hello.
Deborah Hernandez.
Hi.
And Sierra Fulcher. Alright, so today we are talking about molestation. Molestation is real.
Yes.
People being molested, that's a real issue. That's something that is real that people deal with, that it can go on quietly. Sometimes it's loudly out in front of people, and sometimes it's quiet and people don't want to talk about it. Yes. So today we are choosing to talk about it.
Talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
So I'm going to get into first, I'm going to say the definition, then we're going to get into just talking about it. But I want to put the definition out there for ones that don't really know the fullness of what molestation is, or really know the definition of it, because sometimes people think it's one thing when it's a multitude of things. Yes. It's not just one thing. So what is considered as molestation? Molestation is the crime of engaging in sexual acts with minors, including touching of private parts, exposure of genitalia, taking of pornographic pictures, rape, inducement of sexual acts with the molester or with other children, and variations of these acts. So different kinds of acts that involve things like that. So sometimes, because I've heard people where they just think it's just rape, or it's just, it's all of that put together. So you could have one thing that happened to you that's still molestation. Somebody molested you. You could have had the other thing, and it's still all molestation. Yes. And we're going to talk about that very thing. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
And we want to real quick just put a disclaimer that some of the subject matter that may be discussed in today's podcast may be more geared towards the adults. And if the adults feel comfortable with inviting their children in to view it with them, that's great. But we'll let you all make that call.
Absolutely.
But we definitely want to put that disclaimer out there, because some of the things that we may share today will be very personal, and some words that we may use may, be more advanced or what have you than where your child may be at this point. So please use your own discretionary, precaution for your children. But we do want to say that.
Amen.
That's right.
Very true.
All right, guys. So let's get into it. So first, we're going to talk about beware of predators. That's the first subject. Beware of predators.
Yes, it's so important to beware of predators, because it can be, like she said, it can be right in your home. Right in your home. And we have to be so careful. And I know, as being a mother, sometimes we feel like, oh, let my daughter or let my son sit on their lap. It's okay about them sitting on their lap. No, it's not okay about your child sitting on everybody's lap, because everybody in different ones that they are around, they are hidden, a lot of them.
Yes.
It's hidden and you don't know.
That's why it's called predator.
That's why it's called. And so you have to be so careful, whether it's a father, mother, sister, brother, uncle, aunt, cousin.
Nobody's exempt.
Nobody's exempt from this. Nobody. And so
doctors.
Right. Yes.
Nobody's
Doctors,
exempt.
whoever. Teachers. You just have to be aware, even daycares, we have to be watchful.
Cousins.
That's how you say cousins. Yeah, family, friends.
You can think your child's peers, like their age group.
Yes.
Like sometimes you think, oh, they just with their friends, or they just with it. Even if they're in the same age group, they still can be touched and messed with kids in their age group. Or you let their older cousin babysit them. That's still a scenario of
It's a red flag.
And the thing I think we have to really take note of as parents and as caregivers is what goes on in your house
Yes.
doesn't always mimic what's going on in somebody else's house.
Yes.
So what's another person may be exposed to in their home could be far advanced or far different than what your children are exposed to in your own home. Givers, not turning a deaf ear and not turning a blind eye to things that are going on with our children.
Yeah. And that's so true. Because I was watching a movie, and I'm gonna give my story too. I was watching a movie one day, and it was this young lady in this movie. She had one of her friends to come over, and her dad is the one that, because her dad was molesting her in the movie, and so she had her friend. He had her to get her friend to come over, and he ended up touching the friend, spending the night, and the girl was like, I never saw. So even with that,
She didn't see it.
Wow.
no. And so it's like, as parents, we have to be so careful, even with, oh, they can go around the corner to this house, or they can go next door to this, but you don't know what they're doing in their home.
Yes.
And so you have to be so careful, even with your children visiting other people's home. And I'm not just saying spend the night, I'm just visiting. Because things happen so quick.
I want to say too, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Not only just outside the home, to evaluate what's in your home.
And
Sometimes
yes.
we look at everybody else's home, like you said, like kind of looking outward, and sometimes the predator is right in
your
the home.
Sure is.
And sometimes we do have to really look inward as well. Look in every direction. Pray. I feel like that's the number one thing is pray.
Yes.
Don't just let your children be any and everywhere around any and everybody. Watch and pray. Ask God for the discerning spirit.
Yes.
If you really can't see and you can't, ask for a discerning spirit. That's something that is very important and crucial in your Christian walk life and just a period in your life. But as a Christian, when you praying and seeking God, God will begin to show you people.
Yes.
He will begin to show you spirits.
Yes.
I can attest to that as being a mother. When I see certain things or pick up on stuff, I'm one that, no. And I tell my husband with the quickness, nope, I'm picking up something. Nope, it's something about it. Nope. Or he'd tell me, nah, Sierra, like we'd pick up on things and it's like, no. You have to really be careful. Pray and let God show you. And like I said, if it's in home, and I can say for example, with me, dealing with that thing, it was in home. Actually, my parents had adopted.
We had foster.
Foster. Sorry, fostered a child or some children. And this particular one was right in the home. It was a foster child. And it was right in the home and ended up messing with me. I was one that was messed with or a victim of, molestation. And that, of course, it affected me in my life, but just the thing of it was right in the home. And not only, it wasn't just one person, but it was another person that was right in the home that I was related to that did the same thing. So we have to really be careful. It can be people that we're related to right in the house with you that can do those very things. So it's crucial to really, really watch and pay attention to things. Pray.
And it is, because it's just like when I did find out about the one, I didn't know about the other until maybe a year. It's been a year, a couple of months that I just found out.
Last year.
Last year?
Yeah,
that I found out about the other person. But the first person I found out about, I was furious. Because she was young. She was darn near a baby. And she was a baby. And I was so furious. I was like, I had to tell the people, get her out my house today. Not tomorrow, because I don't know how I'm going to, my mind right now ain't functioning good. And so you got to get this person out my house today. They had to get this person out of my house that day.
Wow.
Because my mind, I was snapping. And I could feel myself snapping. Because I know, and I didn't realize that until really I started reading a molestation. I didn't realize that I was a victim. I know that things was happening, but I really didn't know that that's what it was. And when I was reading on it, I'm like, dang, I was really a victim. And I'm talking about, it was like uncle, so-called supposed to be uncles coming in to be a part of the family.
Wow.
That was literally just touching
Yes.
and saying sweet things. Oh, you, and I was little.
Wow.
And so all of that, not knowing that, but it was still flaring up. And when it happened to her, it was like flaring up. And it was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my God. God, come on. And I had to pray. And I was saved. And I had to truly pray.
Yeah.
And when she told me about the second person, it took all of me. She still didn't want me to say it. And but it takes all of me.
Yeah.
Takes all of this in God to hold me back.
Absolutely. When your child has been
When your
violated
child,
and
yes,
hurt.
yes. So yes, it can be right in the home, sister, brother, whoever,
Nobody's
uncle,
exempt.
nobody's exempt.
And that's why I say nobody is exempt. And I think a lot of times it's misinformation because we think that the molester has a look.
Yeah,
There's no
There is no
look.
look.
There's no certain
There is no
profile.
sign. You don't
You know,
even know.
I mean, just as regular as we
you
look
and I,
here.
males
Yeah.
and females.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can be the perpetrator. We can be. There's no certain look,
Sure.
and nobody is exempt. And so I think like with what Sierra was saying about just truly asking God for a spirit of discernment, you know, for us to show us things that is, because a lot of times it can be right in front of us, and we not even recognize it, you know. And so a lot of time we think with molestation that it has to be physical and penetration, and no, it
No.
does not. It can
No.
be as simple as
Touching.
touching.
Yeah.
And
in the wrong places.
in our private places, it
Yes.
can be as much
Fondling.
as touching. And
Unwanted
what I've
behavior.
learned, unwanted, unwelcome
Unwelcome, yes.
behaviors
Advancement.
that we encounter, and because we don't have a name attached to it, then we don't really know what it is, but we
Right.
know that it's not right.
That's right. And
And
that's
I'm
right.
gonna
It's
say
me.
too, I'm gonna say even if it is welcomed, if
If
that's
your
a minor,
kid-
that's what I'm saying. Because you have kids, a man to talk, or even a woman to talk to a kid, and they say, "Oh, it's welcome." It's not welcome.
Right.
They are
You know
a
better.
child. They
They
have
know
a
better.
child
Mentality.
mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
So even if they say yes, they want to, and they're trying to consent, it's not, because the child is immature.
You should know better.
Yeah. As a molester person, whoever you are, you should know better.
Predator.
And even as a parent watching over your children, or if you're a guardian or whatever, I feel like it's important to really watch over and know they can't think for themselves. Even if they're 16, 17,
Right.
they can't think for themselves. They're still immature. Their minds are still immature.
Right.
So don't just release your child to any and everybody. Don't, you know.
Right.
I feel like that's something that really is, like you said, that's really important. That's deep. That sometimes I feel like parents kind of just go with the okie doke and feel like their kids are fine once they get to a certain age.
Well, I think that, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
We as families sometimes are so trusting.
Yeah.
And I think
To a
that's where,
fault.
to a fault. Become trusting and you not know what will happen, or even what you thought would happen, or you trusted these individuals, but they were not trustworthy. And it became definitely a fault to your children. Every mother needs to raise their own children, stay in their own house. One of the things that happens in families, relationships, is that you get offended because somebody don't let their kids come to see you. Those type
Oh,
of things.
yeah.
Respect the boundaries of parents.
Yeah.
If a parent say no,
Ain't that it?
stop feeling a certain kind of way, like it's about you, even
Yeah,
though you
yeah,
know
yeah.
that, well, it may not be you, it could be your husband, it could be, and as Jackie said, throughout our lives, we have had that throughout our families with different ones. You know, even with me, I did approach my predator. For a long time. It affected me. It was really, really bad. And when I approached the predator, he tried to deny it. I said no. And I literally was so angry, and yes, I was saved. But I confronted the predator, and the predator said no. I got a knife. I was that upset. I got a knife. And I said, you're gonna tell the truth today. If not, I'm gonna slice you. I did. Because now you're grown. You were grown then and I was a kid, but now we both grown. We face to face. I'm not getting ready to be your friend. You're not getting ready to say, hey, Tammy, hi, how you doing? That was too much for me to handle. And I said, you owe me an apology. And the predator said, for what? You know what you did to me.
Yeah.
You know, this is real. They were so bold. They were so bold and so arrogant. And when I grabbed the knife, and I was willing to go to jail for it. I was. Not looking back now, and I was in my 20s when I confronted the predator. But looking back now, he was not worth me going to jail, but I still was angry and I still was bitter. And so finally, when I grabbed the knife, the predator said, yes, I did do that, and I'm so sorry. He said, I was on drugs, I wasn't in my right mind, please forgive me. I accepted the apology, but I never have had anything else to do with them at all.
And that's good.
And I'm okay.
There's nothing written.
It's nothing written that I have to
engage.
And I don't engage. I don't speak to them at all, because you can use marijuana, you can use drugs as an excuse, but there is no excuse to inflict yourself upon a child that had no control.
And I want to say,
sorry, I was going to say something though, back to what you were saying about the bringing children over, people not getting offended, because I feel like you do have people that get offended, like you said, that feel like, why your kids don't come over? Because I had it for example, with my children, I had a situation where somebody got mad about me not letting my kids come over. But my thing was, it's protecting my children, because I know what happens to
At
me.
whatever cost.
And and it's like, you may not, or your spouse may not, but who else do you hang around? Who do you bring over to your house? Who do you, that's the thing, that it can be other folks too that you bring around. That's the thing that people don't realize. You bring your cousin or your brother, and it's like you bringing somebody over that can mess around with your best friend. And
you can't watch everything.
You can't watch everything, and that's my thing. It's like, even if it, you think that, okay, me and my husband ain't doing nothing, they don't want their kid to come around. You can have a friend that come over and do something to your kids, and that's the thing, that we should not be offended if people are protecting their children. Go with it and say, you know what, that I understand that. And just, if you want to spend time, just spending time can be.
Come to my house. Come to my house.
You spend,
we all going to the house.
We all
taking a trip to the house.
For real. For me, it's, hey, we can do a play date. That's fine. We can do a play date. We can play in the daytime, out, or even at your house. We play out and let the kids play. But when it comes to nighttime, they coming home and they sleeping right with their mom and dad in their house, in my house.
Home.
In our home.
I agree.
They're not going out and staying out. No.
And I think that's good.
It's just protecting your children and not being
have to
naive
respect them.
whether
they want to or not. You're going to respect that.
That's true.
I will say, I wanted to pick up something that Sierra said earlier about where if the adult feels like the child is consenting. And I will say, with me, it was a male uncle, and it was never penetration, but just touching. And I can remember growing up, it's like the person wanted to be the clown of the family, and they would do different stuff and may walk by even their own sisters and touch or rub, and even as the sisters would kind of laugh it off and brush it off. And I felt like it made it easy for him to become a predator, because nobody really took him serious, and so it made it easy for him to do and to get away with things that he did. And like I said, never that it was any penetration or anything like that, but just the touching that was uncomfortable. And what we have to realize, if those issues aren't addressed and dealt with, and I heard you say, Sharon, that it wasn't until you were 20 that you were able to confront, because a lot of times
Yes,
as a kid we feel like we don't have a voice.
that's exactly.
We're
Yes.
told a lot of times stay in a kid's place, and a lot of times we feel like the predator makes it feel like it's something that you did
Yeah.
to
Absolutely.
cause it. Well, if
Yeah.
you wouldn't have been so pretty, I wouldn't have this, or you wouldn't have been so that, it wouldn't have happened. So in a
Blame
sense you
you.
start to
Yeah.
feel like it's
Something's
your
wrong
fault.
with
So
me.
you
It's
keep
my
your
fault.
mouth
You do.
closed. You
You
don't
do.
talk about it. You don't share about it.
Yeah.
And you know, and I think when we don't get to have that voice, growing up, I mean, those things spill over to other areas of our lives. You know, we start to, when we are able to get into relationship, those types of things can spill over to unresolved things that happened when we were kids, can spill over to those issues. This is not anything that I'm proud of, but I learned early as a young girl that I could command the attention of a man. I was a kid, but I knew how to get the attention of a man. And was that something wrong with me? Maybe, because I'm acting on what may have been done to me.
Yeah.
Or was it really something wrong with him that
Absolutely.
he could be swayed or persuaded, or I could gain his attention and I was only a kid, and
Yeah.
somehow you feel justified because I brought on the I encouraged it, so to speak, but I was a kid.
Yeah.
So at
And,
the same,
and you know what? Some things I don't even think that you encouraged it. You were just being a kid.
yeah.
That
Not
was
even
just
knowing.
not even
Yeah.
knowing. Yeah, you just being a kid. Because that's just how I felt. My very first predator, I remember him. They dead and gone now. But when I go back and I think that was my very first predator, a person that was, he wasn't in the family, but he would come over and be, was supposed to be part of the family, never did, and my grandmother would allow him to take me to my uncle's place and ride with him different places, and when I would get in the vehicle with him, then that's when he would do the touching and the fondling with me, and he's like, oh, it's okay. And as I'm what, 8, 7, 12,
Yeah.
10, whatever age I was at that age, I don't know that. And back during that time, I don't think that it was really taught to really, they say come and tell us, but there was really no, you couldn't come and tell because you just a fast butt. You just
Oh my God.
fast, and that's why no, I'm not fast. I'm just being a young girl that's enjoying life as I thought I should
Being
do.
violated.
And I'm being violated by a grown-tail man that can't look at a child
As a child.
as a child.
Wow. And that is so, you hit it, oh my gosh, like right on the head. And I was talking about this, I think with Sierra sometime back, and I was saying how sometimes we become so engulfed in the exterior, what we're seeing, and that's something that they would say, that old fast tail girl, get over there and
Yeah.
sit down. But we don't inquire why you acting fast.
Thank you.
What has happened to you that caused you to behave like that or to make you act like that?
Yeah.
And because we don't, then we get so fixed and so focused on the outside that we never deal with the whatever is going on the inside. And I feel like if our caregivers and parents and relatives or family and even now, if we would do that, take the a further step and don't just look at what they're doing, because a lot of time what's going on the outside is a cry of what has happened on the inside, but because they don't have a voice, they're not confident.
Yeah.
And I think that's what y'all going into actually is the second one about the
Oh,
cause of it. No, it's okay. It's the cause of molestation. But before we get into that, I do want people to really realize to beware, like we said before, beware of who is among you. Like that game Among Us. Beware of who's among us.
And why you
who is
saying
around.
why you saying that? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was kidding.
Okay,
Okay,
why
go
you
ahead.
saying really when she said that, because I wanted to bring out that part, really even with, because I'm not saying, because sometimes we don't send our kids to daycare. We have somebody come in and watch our children, and it's so important that whether you have a relative or whoever come in your house to babysit your kid, like she said, pray and really know you better put a camera, if you're sneak cameras around, or some type of audio where you know that you can see what a person is doing to your child. Because it's so important, that very person, that cousin, that sister, that whoever, they could be right there in your home, or coming and watching your children and laughing at hey and ha and all that you're putting on, and you, oh, I trust them. Now they never, cause they ain't never did nothing to nobody that you know of. That you know of.
That's the thing that, like you said, that we know of, we think, but stuff be hush hush, or you may not have seen it, and you just. So it's good to really beware. And then that's where I go into when she was talking about, when we both was talking about the effect of it, how it affects the child or the person that is molested. Because you have adults too that can get molested or raped or different things. But the victim of it, how it affects you. It affects you in a huge way. I would say for me, when it happened to me, I had got touched on by two people. One was, like she said, it was a foster child, and one was actually someone very close, a relative that was very close. I don't like to get off into mine because it's not something that I really like to tell everybody. Like, people in my family know, but I don't like to talk about it because, first of all, it's very close, so it's not everybody's business. But this particular situation, they touched on me and messed with me. And like she said, I was young, but I can remember it vividly. I can really remember those moments of being touched. And like you said, it can introduce you into things at an early age. Other things at an early age that, like you said, people on the outside just assume one thing about you when you're this way, first of all, because first of all, the spirit's attached to you. Those people that do that, they have spirits. They have stuff. Whether it's a spirit of what's the word I'm looking for? A spirit of lust. You can have a spirit of perversion, because I see that a lot, a spirit of perversion, and then that thing get attached to you and you become like that.
Exactly.
It could be a thing of lust, that lust get attached to you, and then you don't have a spirit of lust on you, and you begin to walk in that thing, and then people see, like you said, you could be dressing, and because your outward thing is you dress in one way, but internally, you're deep within, you are struggling with things. You're emotionally damaged. You're spiritually damaged. You are damaged. Your innocence has been taken from you. So you're walking around looking one way, and people, ooh, she fast. Ooh, she with this guy and that guy. She's something else. I can say it for me. I have had people look at me different kinds of ways, and it's not a good feeling. It don't feel good. But what happened to me? What was exposed? That was the effect of. That's what affected me. That's what happened to me. Where you think, even far as you have women that bounce from man to man. Why? Why? Even at a young age, and that's what I'm saying. At a young age,
you even have depression. People go and wonder, why's my kid? Wonder why. Ask questions. Withdrawn, low self-esteem. They begin to act out in different ways, all different types of ways that they'll act out. They might put things on fire. They might burn themselves. They might cut themselves. All of those things. And then we want, no, find out what happened. Because a lot of times with children, something didn't happen.
But you also have in the older generation, that when children come to tell, may it be their mother, their grandmother, their auntie, they don't want to believe, and they called you a liar.
Oh my God.
I had another incident that happened to me in my family, and everybody called me a liar. They all called me a liar. It didn't happen. I know it happened, and God knew it happened. And I was at this point an adult. And I don't know
the predator knew it happened.
the predator knew that it happened as well. And through the years, I guess you can call it mean-spirited. I don't want to say that. That's what other people called it. They didn't understand that I was always protecting myself because I had nobody to fight for me.
Nobody else did.
And so I became the protector, not even knowing that I was a protector. So I have fought. So if someone said that I was lying about something or you were doing this, no, I fought. And even still to this day, I was called out of my name, and that is a trigger for me. And it triggers me so bad. And so sometimes certain people wonder, well, why you don't have nothing to do with me? Why you don't have nothing to do with me? The truth be told is that when you found out what happened and I tried to come to you, you didn't want to defend me. You rather defend your family.
Wow.
And so when you defended your family member, then that said to me that I wasn't important to you. So even in a role now, I don't play important role to certain people because certain people didn't play important roles to me when I needed to be protected.
Wow. And I think that is
I was not
so
protected.
true. That's so true.
Because that's what happened.
We have a responsibility. Our families have a responsibility.
And they don't take it.
To give our children a voice that they don't have.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I can tell y'all, I can share that. I was an adult too, not even long ago, that I was able to have this conversation with a parent. And I would begin to share, what happened. And it was almost to the fault where they began to make it about them. And I'm like, no, you don't get to make it about you.
No.
Because now in my grown stage, I finally have found the voice to share.
Yeah.
So you don't get to make it about you. It's
about me.
in this
Right.
moment.
Right.
And what I may not have got then, it's like you almost feel like you have to take it for yourself.
Yes.
And I wasn't blaming the individual because a lot of times when you share, they take it as an outright attack, like you're blaming me because I didn't protect you, and that's the way they feel. So they begin to internalize it. No, I just need you to deal with the information that I'm sharing. That this is what happened.
And you need to believe me.
To me, because
Yes.
I've had family members and I've heard stories where perhaps the relative, the person that they were dating, that they were married to, and that they touched their child.
And they believe you're an adult
And the fact, you don't even have to say you don't believe me, but the fact that you let him stay in this house
says that you don't
speaks
believe
volumes.
me.
Yes,
It speaks volumes.
Yes,
You don't
it
have
does.
to tell me verbally with your mouth,
Yeah.
you're a liar.
He still stay there.
You showed me with your actions
Absolutely.
that I don't have any face value here, that I don't have any worth. And I think as an adult now, looking back, you don't want to be that. And like Sierra, she talked about the kids, and which are her grandkids, and and it's like you never want anything to happen. So sometimes to other people on the outside looking in, it looks like you're being overprotected, that you're overdoing it. But like I told her, I would rather overdo it
Then not do it at all.
any day
Then not do
than
it at
to
all.
do it
Yeah.
than
And
to not
something
do it
happened.
and something happened
Yeah.
and you can't undo
You can't.
What
once
happened?
something has already been
Yeah.
done. I would rather
Absolutely.
Yeah.
head it off all the way at the front so it won't happen
Yeah.
than to not give attention to it and allow something to happen that I can't reverse.
Yeah.
And I'll say, like
That's
you
what I
said,
said,
I
too.
definitely agree. And I like how you put it with that anger. I know that was something that I struggled with at a young age. I was angry. I feel like that's a spirit that comes that you don't even realize it, but to some people it's a spirit of anger that come over you, and you feel like you said, you have to protect yourself, and that's for the longest. Like from small, like I was Jupiter age, mean, very mean, very protective. I had cousins and different ones that would come up to me, and like even now in the growing age, and they'd be, I thought you was just mean when you was little. But they didn't understand I was
You can't see
angry.
the
I was
whole
protecting
picture.
myself. Yeah. It was a thing of, I felt like as I was getting older, it was like I had to protect myself. I had to cover myself. I had to, I had to be tough. I had to show, nope, you're not gonna just go walk over me. You're not just gonna be this. You're not just gonna do me this way. You're not just gonna treat me. It was a
And I'm still that
protection
way.
thing, and it was like I had to really. God began to really show me. He began to show me, but it was a thing of protection, and that's where it's like those effects that come from being touched and raped and whatever that molestation is for you, it affects you in a lot of ways that you have to ask God, show me how am I being affected? Why is this thing affecting me? What is going, go dig deep. And sometimes when you dig deep, it's a scary thing to face. It's scary. It's frustrating. But it's necessary. It can really cause some things to come up, but that coming up is good. It really is,
And I'm gonna say too that if you can tell somebody, tell somebody.
Yeah.
Don't hold on to
I'm not being a victim to what happened to me, but instead I'm being free from it. That's not me. That is not me. Just because that devil put something on you don't make you that thing.
Come on now.
And that's what I felt like. I'm not gonna be that. I'm not gonna be a victim to molestation. Yes, it happened to me, but if anything, I'm gonna be a conqueror over it. I'm gonna be a victor over it.